introduce myself. I am Eira Marte Aslaga, Johan Marte, Johan Aslaga Aili.
Okay.
Do you know why my name is so long?
No.
I can say it again. Eira Marte Aslaga, Johan Marte, Johan Aslaga Aili. Any guesses? It has a reason. The many names.
Parents and grandparents.
Yes. So I'm introducing myself through 5 generations.
Wow.
So my name is Aile, and my father is Johan Aslag. So I'm Johan Aslag of Aile. My grandfather is Johan Marte, and so on. Yeah, so did you enjoy the beetles that you just ate? Yeah? Okay. Was it better with the garlic powder for you guys who got that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my little trick. I always use the salt and the garlic powder. So, beedus, I don't know what my colleague told you about beedus, but beedus is a feast meal we usually serve at weddings and confirmations, baptism, parties, or yeah, when there are lots of people. But we also serve them on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, yeah, and so on. So you can eat them, the beedus, quite often. So, I have a question for you guys. Is anyone here married? Yeah? May I ask how many guests you had at your wedding? If anyone wants that? 4,000. Okay. So the reason I asked is because I was thinking I could beat your how many guests you had, but I could not. In Sami weddings, we usually have about 3,000 guests. So they're huge, and there's a lot of beetles served. We not only celebrate our weddings one day, but 3 days. So if you can't come on Friday, you can come on Saturday. If you can't come on Saturday, you can definitely make it to Sunday. I think you have no excuse to not come. Also, if you're at the Sami wedding and you want to flirt with a Sami guy, there's a way you can tell by the Sami party clothing if he is taken or single. Would you like to guess how I could tell
The
if
tie.
this guy is single or not?
This is married.
No? Something on the belt
Yeah, the belt.
and the pom-poms.
Oh, pom-poms. One pom-poms is single.
So, this guy right here, he is single because he has round buttons. When we get married, we change the buttons to square ones. Also, when they have the little pom-poms in the middle, it means they're taken, but sometimes they dance a bit, and the pom-poms move. And I don't know. Yeah. Do you have any questions?
How about a woman?
A woman? It's the same for
Oh.
both. So you can see I'm wearing a woman's gakti, that's what it's called. This is what we wear when we want to dress up. Normally we just wear regular clothing. This is a mehtegakti, which means kind of you use it when you're working, so it's not quite as pretty as the one I would wear to a party. And we also have lots of jewelry made out of silver that we also wear. Yeah.
But are you single?
Yeah, I'm single. Yeah, so just pick me up. This is the Sami flag. Have you seen it before? Sami people live in 4 countries. Do you know which ones? Obviously Norway.
Finland.
Finland, Sweden.
Yes, and Russia. So each color on the flag symbolizes something. Would you like to guess what the blue symbolizes?
Norway. Norway.
Some people say they symbolize each country, but it actually symbolizes water. What about the yellow one?
Moon.
No, the sun. And the green is nature. So what could the red be?
Northern Light.
Blood. Yes. Blood runs through all of our veins, and it can also symbolize community. What about the circle?
United.
Yes, you can say it's also for that, or the circle of life. And we also say that the blue is for the moon and the red is for the sun. And they also used to say that we were sons of the sun and daughters of the moon in the old stories, Sami stories. So as I said, Sami people, we don't have a country. We're split in 4 countries. We also have Sami parliaments. In Norway, we have a Sami parliament from the town where I'm from, Karasjokka. Every 4th year, we vote for a president, and the Sami parliament speaks for, or they work with Sami politics. So in everything in the society that has to do with Sami people, the Sami parliament has a say in it. It's not that they can't decide anything, but they can come with suggestions. Yeah, so are there any questions? No questions? Okay, then I can move on. So, I have a question for you.
No.
What is cold for you guys? When is it cold outside? I think it's actually kind of hot in here. Open the door. What temperature do you think it's cold? Celsius? Yeah? Okay. So I don't think 20 minus is that cold. Actually, it's kind of hot. Yeah. The perfect temperature for reindeer is between minus 15 and 25 degrees Celsius. The coldest I've been to, it's minus 50. In Karasjokka, where I'm from. Yes. So, because it's so cold where I'm from and where we have our reindeer, close to the Finnish border, we have to have really good clothing. This is the most worn piece of clothing in Sami. It's called a nahkigahpi, which translates to leather hat. It's made out of reindeer leather here and fox fur. It's kind of small for me. I think it's for children. But this nahkigahpi, it's so good because the fox fur kind of isolates the face. It also blocks the wind, and if you have real annoying siblings, you can just cover it. And you don't hear that much. You can pass it around if you want to. So the next piece of clothing, the sexy reindeer pants, skinny jeans, first pair of skinny jeans. These are made out of the reindeer's legs.
What?
They're hand sewn, hand stitched. Where you have your knee is the reindeer's knee as well. So it has kind of a natural bend.
Oh.
This is made out of also reindeer leather. And here you have this wool fabric, and it has a split right here. And the reason for the split is because we also have the little Gucci shoe. Gucci shoe. So you, when you dress up, you put it like this, and you have a band. This one.
Not a pom-pom.
That you just kind of put around here. You can also pass this around if you want to have a look. So why do you think we have the little tip, or the nose as we call it? Is it a passion statement, maybe? Sorry. There it is. Any wild guesses? No? Would you like to hold it for me? Some people say the Norwegian invented the skis, but actually they didn't. The Samis did. Back in the old days,
The ski.
they used skis when reindeer herding, when we didn't have snowmobiles. You would maybe think that these shoes are quite slippery, but they're not, because the hairs, or it goes in opposite directions. And sometimes they even put reindeer skin under the ski to make one fast and one slow. This is also made out of the reindeer legs. The last piece of clothing I want to show you is the basket. This is the basket. It's made out of 6 reindeer calves. Not this one, but the big one. This is also for babies. The reason we use reindeer calf skin is because it's more soft and more flexible, and also a bit lighter, but it's still quite heavy. And this will for sure keep you warm when it's cold outside. So we don't use this when it's hot, like 25 minus, because yeah, you can also have a look. Does anyone want to try the basket?
Yes. minus 25. No.
They still used to use them?
Yes, we still use them. So these are quite expensive to make. They're, as I said, made out of 6 reindeer calves, and it takes quite long to make them because you have to process the leather and the skin, but you also have to find the right reindeer, and you have to have someone who can sew it. And that's special knowledge that is passed over the generations orally. So there are a few people who know how to make them. For me and my family, it's my great grandmother who sews all of the clothing. I got my baska from my late grandmother, and it's about 40 years, my baska. So yeah, they are quite durable. Would you like to guess how much a baska could cost?
Krona or euro?
Euro.
Or INR. Or dollars.
Yeah. That's bad. So they can go for 7,000 euros. That's expensive. Are there any questions?
How do you wash it?
How do you wash it? It washes itself naturally when we use it in the snow. Okay, so moving on a bit, I wanted to talk a bit about reindeer husbandry. Do you know what this is supposed to look like?
A puzzle?
Not a puzzle? Did you notice the ears of the reindeer? So the ears have like small cuts because we cut the ears of the reindeer calves when they're in the summertime, fall time, when they're quite young, to recognize who owns the reindeer. So this is my reindeer mark. Each one of my reindeer has this mark on the ears. This mark I got when I was born, and I will have this mark till the day I die. And then I will pass it on to someone else. This is the mark of my father. Quite similar. That's normal. In families we have similar marks. So you might have a few questions by now. Does it hurt the reindeer? And why do we do it? So it does not hurt the reindeer because the reindeer don't have too much blood pressure in their ears or veins, so they don't feel it that much. And we also do it when it's quite hot outside, so the reindeer is not hurt. And the reason we do it is because there are so many different owners, and it's important to recognize your own reindeer. And as you may or may not know, the reindeer live in the wild, so they're often not close. They don't come close to people like they did in the pens, because they do live in the wild. So for my summer pasture, it's about 240 square kilo. I don't know how to say the word, but yeah. Kilometers. Yeah. So it's huge. The summer pasture is huge. So we look after the reindeer. We drive around the summer pasture, and we see them through binoculars. And then you have to identify the reindeer by the ears. And that's also something only trained eyes can do. So this is something you learn from your small child. This is the so-called Sami, the Sami knife. A reindeer herder never goes anywhere without his or her Sami knife. The Sami knife, it's not only a knife, but it's a tool. You use it for everything. You use it to chop wood. You use it to mark the ears. You use it to slaughter the reindeer. And you also use it to spread Nutella on your bread. Can you guess how old I was when I got my first Sami knife?
4 years.
4.
4 years.
Tell.
At the age of 4? 3 years old. 3. Yes. 3 years old.
Oh, they said look, they have their own balls.
So, we teach our children from a very young age how to handle a knife, but also all of the traditional knowledge about reindeer herding. That's also something you learn while you're living. So we say you're never fully taught. So are there any questions? No questions? Yeah?
The population of the Sami people.
Yeah, so we don't have like an exact knowledge of that, but it's estimated between 70 and 100,000. So we are very few. And also we have 9 different languages, Sami languages. I speak the Northern Sami language. It's the biggest group. The few of them are actually dying out. One of the languages have only one person who knows the language. She's very old, and so when she dies, that language will also die out. Yeah. Do any of you know why there are so few Sami people and why we don't know exactly how many there are? Have you heard the word indigenous people? Yeah, so Samis are indigenous people. It means we were assimilated until 1950s. So we weren't allowed to speak Sami language in schools or in public. You weren't allowed to have Sami last names. You had to change your last name or you wouldn't be able to buy land. They also burned all of our clothing and other items as well. So yeah, they basically wanted to kind of not have any Sami people. They want us to be Norwegian. So that's the reason there are so few Sami people, and we don't know exactly how many Sami people there are. And also many people are taking back their Sami culture now and learning the language. So the population is actually growing. Yeah. Are there any more questions?
Do you marry within the community or?
So I would say preferably, I think all the parents want us to marry with a reindeer herder. I think if I was to find a reindeer herder, I would try to find someone with a big herd, with many reindeers, big reindeers. But no, we don't have to do it. We can choose ourselves. It's quite normal to marry whoever you like. But yeah, traditionally before we used to marry other reindeer herders. There are also many different kinds of Sami people. So only about 10% of Sami people have reindeer. It's about 3,000 people in Norway who have reindeer. And the rest are coastal Samis, or they're fishermen, hunters, gatherers, or urban Sami living in cities, and they have normal work.
So you can spot another Sami who's normally dressed. You can spot another Sami.
Like Mary?
No. Can you guess? Can you, if you find somebody outside,
Yeah.
can you say that he or she is a Sami?
Yes. Yeah. So I am a reindeer Sami. Because I have reindeer. Yeah, simple. So that's something you're born into. You can't become reindeer Sami unless you're born into it or you marry into it. So if you want to become a reindeer Sami, you have to marry someone, and it's actually by law. So legally, you can't own any reindeer unless you're born into it. So the reindeer mark you have to search the government to get it. So it's registered. Yes.
So that's a problem.
Yeah. Are there any more questions? Just ask.
But how about if the ear got injured and changed to another person?
No, that doesn't happen. I've never heard of that happening. Okay, so I can move on a bit. So we have 5 main predators for the reindeer. Would you like to guess which
Human.
ones? Bear?
Human.
Not fox. Fox eats reindeer, but it doesn't kill. Usually it can, but not quite often.
Wolverine.
Wolf. Wolverine. Eagle. And one that looks like a cat.
Lynx.
Lynx. Okay, so I have a picture because not everyone so these are the 5 predators.
Main 5 predators can't
So would you like to guess which one is the worst predator?
Human.
Human, yeah. But of these 5, you can also pass it around if you want to. Close friend. It's actually the eagle. Yeah. So the eagle kills about 30% of the calf population in the springtime and the summertime. So the eagle, it flies above the herd and it has 6 claws. And when it goes for the kill, it punctures the calf's lungs. It flies up with it and drops it. And the calf quite brutal. Wingspan of 2.5 meters. So the most eagles I've seen over a herd is about 20 eagles. So you can imagine, they kill a lot. And the eagle population is growing in Norway. We don't get the license to kill them, so it's a growing population. And this fall, summer, we had 4 incidents where the eagle tried to also take children. Human children. Yeah. So they also take dogs and cats and smaller animals.
How much
Time to train the eagle.
I'm not sure, but it's very strong. So at least 30, 20, 30.
So a little calf is like,
You can pick it up with ease.
how many months or years is a little calf?
It's newborn.
Okay.
So the ones you saw, the smaller ones, those were calves. Yeah, and they don't kill as many calves now, but they can still kill the calves. And then we have the wolverine. It's quite small. It's about this height. So it's very tiny. It kind of looks like a bear, small bear or dog. But although it's very tiny, it's so strong. So its bite power is 3 tons. And when the wolverine kills, it goes straight for the neck. And it snaps it off. Yeah. And then we have the lynx, the little cat. It goes for the mouth, suffocates the reindeer. And then we have the wolf, which is not naturally in these parts of Norway, but they sometimes migrate here. And one wolf can kill about 7-8 reindeer each day, because it always goes for the fresh kill, fresh blood, fresh meat. So it eats a bit of the meat while it's still warm, and when it gets cold, it just abandons it and kills the next. And actually, wolf also kills for fun. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on from this depressing. I know there's always lots of questions about antlers. These are reindeer antlers. This is a female antler. It's quite small, but you can also see female antlers around here, the long ones. Those up there, those are male antlers. The antler can tell me a lot about a reindeer. First of all, the size can tell me the age. The bigger, the older. And under the antler, there are some knobs often, and the knobs tell me about the reindeer's health. If there are a lot of knobs, it means it's very healthy. Would you want to guess why it's healthy if it's a lot of knobs? Kind of a tricky question, but maybe I'll get some funny answers. Okay, so when the reindeer grows the antlers, it grows inside their skin or the fur, and it's mushy inside when it grows it, so the reindeer sheds its antlers each year and grows new ones. And there's a lot of blood pressure going into the antler, so it grows very fast. It starts growing in like in June, July, August. So therefore the knobs. So if there's a lot of blood pressure, it means it's a very healthy reindeer. You can also have a look at the antlers if you want to. The females, they shed their antler about 2 weeks after the calf is born, and the males shed the antlers in October, November. So we might have seen some reindeer without the antlers. Those are males, and the ones with antlers were females, and the ones with these antlers were calves. The fully grown reindeer, they scratch the fur off in August. So they scratch the antlers against trees and rocks, but the calves didn't understand to do that, so they still have the fur on often. Here. So are there any questions? Yes. What we use antlers for? So we often use the antlers to make, for example, different types of jewelry. You can see these buttons are made out of antlers. You can pass it around if you want to. Here I have a little marking knife. We usually use this small knife here. You can see we use antlers to also make the handle. You can also pass this around if you want to. And actually, I've also heard that they grind the antlers in some parts of Asia to make Viagra. So, there's only 5 minutes left. Do you have any questions? Yeah.
How do you tell a female antler from a male antler? Like, what are the characteristics that differ?
The size.
Is it just size?
Yeah, so you can see, it's kind of hard to explain, but I guess you have to have a trained eye, but you see it on the size of the antler. And also the kind of the spikes are bigger often. And yeah, basically. Any other questions? Okay, so I have a question for you. But first, I just wanted to tell you that we reindeer herders, we live very close to nature. And the nature it's where we work. So naturally we have a lot of words to explain nature. That's also how we communicate with each other. Because when you're out on the mountain, you have to explain to other people who also work with reindeer what you have seen and which kind of animals you have seen. So we have different words to explain antlers, what they look like, and also the reindeer fur, but also other things in nature. So the question is, how many words do you think we have to explain snow?
One.
Yeah.
Snow.
20.
20? No? More? No? More? 300 words to explain snow. Yeah. So our snow is important. Okay, are there any more questions? Do you have any other questions? Okay, then I can move on to the last thing I wanted to talk about. So in about the 1850s, the Norwegian government wanted to make Sami people Christian. But before that, we used to have our own religion. This is called a runebomme, and it has the different Sami gods on it. So we had many gods for different, a god for different things in nature, like a god for the sun or the moon. And this is a kind of drum. The original one, this is a replica. The original one is placed in Inari in Finland. But there aren't many left because the Norwegians burned all of these because they thought we worshipped the devil. So there are only like 50 of these left in the world, placed in different museums. You can also send this around if you want to. So what they did with this drum, they placed, so there were shamans, like healers, or seers, readers you call them. So you had some shamans in different families, and when you were sick or you wanted to predict something, you went to the shaman, and he was often in a labo. It's the tent that you might have seen outside, the 21. And he would sit with this drum, and they would ask him a question, and then everyone was supposed to go outside of the labo, and he would sit there alone by the fireplace. He would place a ring in the middle of the drum, and then he would have a piece of the reindeer antler and drum on it until it landed on the god they were to ask for help. Yeah. Okay. So are there any last questions before I wrap it up? Yeah.
Are you Sami people like restricted to specific things like use of technology or anything like that?
No.
Not at all.
No. So actually there are a lot of indigenous peoples around the world. Maybe some of you are indigenous. I don't know. But actually, the Samis, and in Norway we have the best human rights for the Sami people. So there are different international conventions that protect indigenous rights, and the Samis are actually the best protected in Norway. But our rights aren't that strong, but it's mostly to protect the Sami traditions. But we have all the same rights as other people, and most of us live normal lives. I live in Tromso, I study law. So yeah, I'm gonna be a lawyer one day. Yeah, and wear a pants. Okay, so I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming to Tromso, Lapland. I really hope that you enjoyed the feeding of the reindeer and also the meme and my speech. The souvenir shop is also open if you like to check it out, and you can also ask the Sami guides, me included, any questions you might have.
The family owns 1,500.
Yes, and I'm sure there will be multiplication.
It depends on the herd. Some
And how you look after them.
yeah.
Thank you very much.